KDP bleed versus no bleed interiors. This is the concept that may confuse many beginners and you may find a hard time understand this. I had already made a very quick video to clarify this concept, but it was very short video, so I am going to create another video which explains the same concept in detail. So this is the first slide you can see here on the screen. This is with bleed. Let me show you the full version of this. You can see here, this is a KDP interior with no bleed. As you can read on the screen, with no bleed interior, every element including text, images, lines, etc. must be inside the margin. If you can see here, inside margin is bigger than the outside margin. This is as per KDP. Inside margin is 0.375 inches and the outside margin is 0.25 inches here. So everything in this interior is inside this margin. You can see here lines are inside, text is already inside, and the images inside these margins. You can see here from the top it is 0.25 and from bottom it is 0.25 as well. And here is 0.25 and here is 0.375. These are the margins for a no bleed interior, and you can see here the width would be 8.5 inches and the height should be the 11 inches. For this specific type of book, you may have another book of 6x9, and in such case your height and width would be exactly 6x9. So this is the first one. As you can understand, every element, like including lines, objects, everything, text, images, must be inside these margins. It cannot go here. It also cannot go here. It must be inside these margins. Similarly, the text cannot be here. So it must be inside the margins. This was the first thing. And let me show you the size here. If we go to the design and slide size and custom slide size, you can see here it is exactly 8.5 into 11 inches. So the next interior is with bleed, and that is a different one. I have increased the size of the same interior and created a different interior for you. This is a with bleed interior. In such a case, only the text must be inside the margins. Text cannot be go here across the margins. The size would be 8.5 plus 0.125 inches. This would be the width of the book, and height would be 11 plus 0.25 inches. And out of this, 1.25 would be here and 1.25 would be toward the top. And when we add this, it would be 0.25. So I have written 11 plus 0.25 inches. This would be the height of the interior. Let me show you the size of this interior. Go to custom size. It is 8.625 and 11.25. Let me pull up the calculator and show you. The original interior size was 8.5. This was with no bleed. So plus 0.125 and it would be 8.625. And if we calculate the height of the interior, it would be plus height plus 0.125 plus 0.125 and it will become 11.25. So if you have a no bleed interior, you can simply go to the design and custom slide size and increase the size to like this 6 to 5, and here you can set 0.25 and it will increase the size of the slide. In such case, you can go here and change the lines to here like this, and also increase the image size here. Your image can go beyond these margins for the bottom also. This is allowed with a bleed interior. So this is how you can create an interior with bleed or no bleed. So let's go to the KDP Help Page and see what it says. Bleed is a printing term that refers to when printed items on page. Such image illustrations reach all the way to the edge of the page. Like you can see here, this applies only to images and illustrations that are going to be printed on a page. And next we can read, all book covers on KDP require bleed. Every cover comes with bleed. However, you can choose whether your interior has bleed or not. Like you can see here, these are the examples. This is with no bleed. You can see here image is inside the margin, text is inside the margin. And on the side it has bleed. This is the right side. Image is going beyond the margins, but the text is within the margins. This is book interior after final trim. This was on the software on the PC image screen, and once it is printed, you can see here the difference. Image and text are inside the margins and not trimmed. On the other side, this is with bleed. Text is inside the margin. It should not be cut. An image can be cut here. You can read here. When a book is printed, all the pages are trimmed to selected trim size by cutting 0.125 from top, bottom and outside edges. It doesn't matter if your interior is with bleed or no bleed. Amazon increases its size from top, bottom and from the outside margin by 0.125 inches and cut it when it is printed. So, for images to go beyond these margins and to be not cut off, you need to increase the interior size and increase the images. This is a bit confusing, but you can only understand it by understanding these slides. This is with bleed. Okay, I have changed this everything. This was no bleed. So read it again. Every element including text, images, lines must be inside the margins. Width would be exactly as your interior is. You don't need to add an additional bleed or size to your interior size toward the bottom, top or outside margin. And with bleed interior, you need to add 0.125 bleed toward the outer edge, and this would be toward the width, and towards height you need to add plus 0.25 inches. In such a case, your images can go beyond the margins. You cannot keep images exactly on the margin. It should be here, either here or inside the margin. So in such case, you can extend these images here. Your lines can extend here outside the margin and should go toward the edges. You cannot leave a little white space here. It is not allowed. White space is not allowed. Like you cannot keep this here and here. You are not allowed to do this because this will leave a white space which looks bad after printing. To avoid this, you can extend here. You must extend the images here. I hope you will get the idea and understand what is the difference between bleed and no bleed. It only depends on the way you are creating your book. If you are creating a book for children and your images are going towards the edges of the book, in such a case you need to include with bleed interior. On the other hand, if you are creating a simple KDP interior that are well inside the margin, in such a case you should select with no bleed interior. Let me show you the sizes or examples. This is the page without bleed. There is no bleed added toward the width or height. On the other hand, bleed is being added toward the width and height. You can see here this is 5 into 8 inches, and when it would be with bleed, it would be 5.125 into 8.25. This is the width of the interior and this is the height of the interior. Like in our example, we have created 8.5 into 11. This was our interior with no bleed. And if we want to create an interior that has images going beyond the margins or lines going beyond the margin, in such a case you need to add bleed, and that would become 8.625 toward the width of the book and 11.25 inches toward the height of the book, and this would be with bleed interior. So this is not as confusing as it appears to be. Bleed is actually the extra space or a little page that is going to be cut, and you need to add that extra space when your image is going beyond the margin, is going toward the edges. On the other hand, if everything is inside the margin, in such a case you need to select no bleed interior. I hope this clarifies this a little confusing concept. Let me correct this. Okay, so this is all from me today. I hope this clarifies KDP bleed versus no bleed interiors. Let me know in the comment section below, and thanks for watching. See you in the next video, and I also recommend you to watch my next video. It is very good tutorial on quickly finding low competition keywords for Amazon KDP. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.